All right, today I'm talking about UFC again. I feel like it's taken over my channel because of the lack of influencer boxing and boxing news. But today, since you read the title probably, we're talking about the middleweight title and who could be next for the middleweight title because there is some conversation. It seems like Sean Strickland's being a bit difficult, saying he's not going to fight anybody besides the title fight, which is fair. Some people think he won the Dricus fight in the first place. They thought it was a controversial decision. Strickland and Dricus just beat Adesanya back-to-back, so that's another reason to make the fight. But I don't think it's simple as that because Chimaev is now 14-0, undefeated. I think it's kind of hard to deny how dominant he is in the wrestling game. He instantly always shoots, and I don't think anybody has stopped him so far. Just dominant, very strong wrestling. And if you've been paying attention to my channel, I haven't been the biggest fan of grappling, but I think there's a difference between grapplers that actually look to finish fights and grapplers that stall. And I feel like Chimaev is always looking for a finish immediately. He literally crushed Robert Whittaker's teeth backwards. I can't even show it in the video. One, because my lack of editing credibility, and two, because I'd probably get the video removed. It's brutal. But I'm not going to let my wrestling hating bias get in the way because, one, I think he's actually an entertaining grappler, even though it's not my ideal fighter style. I still think he deserves the title shot. But does he deserve it more than Strickland? I'm going to give reasons why it should be Strickland. I'll give some reasons why it should be Chimaev. Me and Dallas are here once again to tell you guys that 97% of you guys aren't subscribed. If you like influencer boxing, and MMA content, almost forgot that last part. Make sure you subscribe. I post 3 to 4 times a week on here, depending on if it's fight week. If you don't subscribe, it makes Dallas sad, which is pretty messed up. Thank you. So let's start with Sean Strickland. If I'm being honest, he is one of my favorite fighters based off his personality alone. He goes a bit too far sometimes, but sometimes he is based. One time he went too far is one time he joked about a guy that literally just died by getting hit by a bus. And he said if you can't dodge a bus, then that's why you're not in UFC. Just a bit too far. It literally just happened too. I'm not going to lie. Before I say why he should get the title, I wonder if the UFC is low-key, cautious on giving him another title shot because they don't want him to be the champion because what comes out of his mouth. I wouldn't be surprised Disney got involved with the UFC now. Sports just getting soft ever since, but I could just imagine them not wanting Strickland as a champ low-key behind the scenes. So I really wonder if they give Chimaev the fight for that reason. That would be wild, but I can't say that for sure. But the UFC also has to realize that the fans love Sean Strickland, though. Even though what they think about Sean Strickland, the fans love him, so that's a main reason why to give him a title shot. Obviously, like I said, the first Dricus fight was really close. Some people gave it to Strickland because of the damage, which I did agree with at the time, but Dricus has grown on me over the years. I think he's just overall a good dude. Even though his trash talk goes a bit wild, sometimes he's just building up fights. I'm not going to hate him because of it. I'm not going to hate him because he brought up Strickland's past abuse. Strickland is a bit of a hypocrite, too. He comes at people because of that type of stuff too, and when Dricus did, he really didn't like it, which is understandable, but Strickland is a bit untapped sometimes with the trash talk, so you can't get too mad. I gotta be careful what I say about Sean Strickland because he does not like influencers whatsoever. So yeah, I can't say I want to be in that situation too much, I'm not gonna lie. But I am serious about the Disney connection and them maybe not wanting Strickland as champion. I'm being serious. Because he says wild stuff. Even though, I'm not going to say I agree with some of it, but sometimes he says some stuff that is realistic on Twitter or something. And then there's sometimes he says something that's just absolutely fucking crazy. And you just can't get behind it, so I don't know how Nina is defending Strickland, but doesn't like MMA Guru, but that's the only thing I'm going to say about that situation because that's another crazy one. For some reasons why I do think Strickland should get the title shot, of course he is a draw, like I said. Even though the UFC might not like it, fans do love him and his unfiltered personality. He also has probably the best striking defense in the UFC. him against any striker. He actually seems to be the favorite at this point. People learn from the Adesanya fight, which is probably my favorite underdog win of all time, by the way. That knockdown in the first fight was probably the most surprising, most hyped. Maybe in UFC history, I would like, obviously there might be more exciting things, but unexpected exciting things, that might be number one, because Anderson Silva getting knocked out was not exciting for me. That was devastating. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, if you strip away how much the fans love Strickland and the fact that the first rematch was close, Chimaev kind of has the edge on he should get the title shot, and I'll explain why. First off, Chimaev is literally dominant. He probably shoots like in the first 10 seconds of every fight and manages not to get Ben Askren. To be fair, nobody really is doing a flying knee at middleweight besides Michael Pereira, but we've seen how good his gas tank is in his last fight, so not much of a worry at the title for sure. And then there's just one point that really just sticks and really just knocks Sean Strickland out of the water for this title shot. Chimaev is 14-0. He hasn't lost. It's like, it really seems only fair. Strickland has lost multiple times. He's lost to Alex Pereira. He's lost to Dricus at this point, and he's lost other times early in his career. Obviously, he's been really good recently, but Chimaev's only 14-0 and seems dominant at points. The only thing that stops him is his health, which could be an argument that he's not as reliable as Strickland. But Strickland could just be the backup opponent of their fight if he does end up having an illness of any kind. But I wonder if Strickland's really going to stand on business with his point that he's only going to fight for the title. I wonder if he waits if Chimaev gets the fight. I think he said on social media that maybe him and Dricus already have the fight signed already. If that's the case, then what's the point of this video? But Strickland could just be saying that, just being defensive, because realistically, what makes sense is a title eliminator between the two, but that's probably not going to happen based off Strickland's terms that he seems to have now. But yeah, overall, it seemed obvious that the next title fight should be Dricus versus Strickland in the rematch. But Chimaev literally just dominated Robert Whittaker and broke his teeth in the first round. So things are a bit complicated for old Dana and the matchmakers now. I think they have a tough decision on their hands. If you're going to ask me, no, but if you take the bias away, I'm not going to lie, I think Chimaev deserves it more. Maybe the reliability may be the final decision point for Dana. They just can't trust that he's going to be healthy, but they can always have Strickland as a replacement. But I don't know if it's already like set in stone. Dricus versus Strickland obviously is a great fight. I'm not going to complain about it. Strickland is one of my favorite fighters, but Chimaev is 14-0. So I do think him fighting for the title does make more sense. Maybe Chimaev gets another fight in the meantime, but he may do the same thing that Strickland does and not going to fight for the title. So this may hold up the division. It may set up a title eliminator that will be fire, but we don't really know until it happens. So yeah, let me know who you think deserves the middleweight title shot in the comments. Let me know if you disagree with my points or not. If Chimaev does end up getting the title shot, let me know what you think Strickland could be fighting. If Chimaev does end up getting a title shot, let me know who you guys think Strickland should face. And yeah, that should be all I have to talk about. I just wanted to talk about the middleweight title for a little bit because I was a bit confused. Like, I don't really know what the UFC is going to do. Strickland may have just spoiled it, saying that the fight's already done and signed. But we don't really know with how Strickland works. Like, we don't know if he's just yapping or not. Yeah, so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'm still trying to build this channel. It's the dream to make this a full-time job. It would be a miracle if you guys are listening to this point because of the retention stats that I see. But, y'all, you know, people may go back and watch these videos later on, so you never really know. Maybe it gets views later. Thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. Peace out.